with the mark of the beast, 6 letters on your forehead. Go and die, I command you in Jesus' name. Arrest you, devil. Arrest you in the name of Jesus. Arrest you by the blood of Jesus. Go and die with the mark of the beast. Look at his forehead, 666. Mark of Satan. Mark of Satan. Mark of Satan on your forehead.
Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. Happy 2018. If you're old, you're the realest MVP. Thank you for joining me once again. And if this is your first time just stumbling upon my channel, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button down below and let's get into this video. So as you can already tell from the title of this video, it's something that is very strange to talk about on my channel. And the reason why I'm talking about it, the reason why I'm making it my first video this year is because it's something that is very dear to me, something that I'm really passionate about, and something that I've been unfortunate enough to have happen to me. So since I have a platform, it doesn't matter how many people get to watch this, since I have this platform, I just thought I would share how to know that you're in an abusive or toxic relationship. And my use of the word relationship in this video doesn't have to do with like boyfriend girlfriend type relationship. It can be friendship, it can be I don't know, it could be situationships, whatever it is. This is just like basic guidelines of how to know that you're in something that is toxic, something that has negative vibe, or something that has negative energy. And like I'm going to be offering some tips as to how to get out of it, because ultimately you want to get out of toxic relationships because they can affect you mentally, psychologically, and even physically. So yeah, if this is something that interests you, this is something that you want to know from a first-hand perspective of somebody that has gone through it, keep on watching it. I also want to note that some people are actually toxic and they don't know it. So some people have toxic behaviors, some people are really abusive and they don't know it. That could happen. And you could even be the toxic person to another person and you might not even know. So all I'm saying is that some people are toxic and they have no idea. So the first major tell sign of toxic relationships have to be control issues. When I say control issues, I mean isolation, like things like isolation, things like irrational jealousy, things like snooping around, checking for text messages, checking for phone calls from other people, your colleagues at work. Basically, these things, all these things that I mentioned fall under control issues. So I've often heard people talk about how jealousy could be cute, but there's a way jealousy, there's a very thin line between jealousy and control issues. Like it's a very razor thin line. If your partner or if your friend, if whoever you're involved with has irrational jealousy and also seeks to isolate you from your friends, from basically your support system, family, your colleagues, your gym mates, whatever, that relationship could ultimately be toxic. So you want to look out for intense control issues. Another one that is very, very common is continuous disrespect. Now, I am of the belief that a relationship cannot thrive if there's no respect. I don't even believe that there is love without respect, because if I love you, if I tell you that I'm in love with you, ultimately that love that I'm giving to you comes with respect. So if I don't respect you, I cannot love you. This is my own ideology. So when there's continuous disrespect in a relationship, in a friendship, in whatever thing that you are in, that relationship could be toxic. So you guys have arguments and you're trying to settle it and they start calling you names, like they call you crazy, they call you stupid, they say you're annoying, you're mad. Those words are typically not what I will use to describe people that I love or people that are my friends. So you have to like check out for that. That could be a very telltale sign of toxic relationships. So another thing is insufficient support. When I say insufficient support, I understand that people have their lives, people are busy, one thing. Yes, I get that. But if you're in a relationship with somebody that doesn't support you, it's very obvious. So in terms of support, I'm not saying, for example, I like fashion. I'm not expecting you to become a blogger overnight because you're supporting me. No. but I expect that you ask me, what are your long-term goals? Don't you want to open a shop? Like questions like that. It's the same way. I don't like football, but as somebody that's if I'm in a relationship with somebody that likes football, I can show up for your games. I can turn on the TV wherever I am to watch your favorite team play, so that we can have something to discuss after the match. Showing interest in things that your friends care about, things that your friends are working on, things that your partner is working on, is just like, it's very healthy. So if your partner is not supporting you enough, if you have to force your partner to support you, you probably need to not be in that relationship. It's all I'm saying. Another one is, have you ever been in a situation where you feel like you cannot just do anything right with somebody? I think this is even my favorite. So like the science law states that for every action there's an opposite and equal reaction. So toxic relationships kind of cancel out that law, because they make everything seem like it's your fault. They make you feel like you're overreacting for every and anything. So for example, your friend did something and then you reacted to that thing that they did. So in a toxic relationship, they're just going to eliminate what they did and focus more on what you did and tell you that you're overreacting. Or like, I love it, like men these days just call you crazy. Anyways, so if you feel like you're always, like you can never ever do anything right in that relationship, friendship, you kind of need to check yourself, because that could be a toxic relationship. So constantly bashing you, constantly criticizing you for every reaction, constantly making you feel like you're not doing anything right, you cannot do anything right. Self-esteem issues, like previously you were very confident and now you can barely even, you're barely even, like you cannot even do anything these days, because it's like, am I doing it well enough? You're questioning everything before you actually go ahead to do it, and it just doesn't make sense. Okay, so something else that I want to talk about is something that I like to call the hot and cold behavior. So one day this person is all lovey-dovey over you, and then the very next day they are emotionally detached. It's like you're in a maze and you keep on running after them and you can never find them. Like there's this disconnect in that relationship. It's like you don't know if they like you like that. You don't know if they love you like that, because today they love you and tomorrow they don't. Like your partner is emotionally detached basically, so you cannot tell. You're constantly running around in circles in your head, like, do you love me? Am I just, like, it's very, very weird. So if you find yourself constantly running around in circles in your head, like today they love you, tomorrow it's a whole different ball game, honey, that is a very toxic relationship. So when you're having an argument, like arguments are in every relationship, friendships, I argue with my friends all the time, but what makes it toxic is instead of finding a solution, they are trying to win an argument. So we are supposed to be finding a solution to why we are arguing, not you trying to win the argument. So if you find that happening over and over again, like if that happens a lot in your relationship, it's probably really, really toxic. Another thing I want to mention, since I'm already here, is manipulation and mind games. So now bear in mind, like emotional abuse is emotional toxicity is very, very difficult. It's probably the most difficult type of abuse to detect, because first of all, they go into your head. They try to manipulate you. They try to make you feel like you cannot do anything right. And then the constant mind games, the constant guilt trips, everything. Like another one is, so when something great happens to you, you don't want to tell this person. You don't want to tell your friend. You don't want to tell your partner, because you just feel like they always see growth and change as negatives. So relationships are supposed to change over time. Relationships are supposed to grow, like long term. Relationships are supposed to change, transform for the better and everything. But your partner, your friend, whoever, always sees growth and changes as negatives. So you get a promotion at work, you're not necessarily thinking about telling your partner first because they would have something negative to say about that situation. So if this person is constantly spewing negativity on your efforts, your struggles, your insecurities, need I say more? And last but definitely not the least, you need to pay attention to their jokes. So I understand like jokes are very, very important in relationships. Jokes are very important in friendships. I throw banter with my friends all the time. And sometimes like jokes are very expensive, but it doesn't necessarily mean that person is toxic. But you should pay attention to jokes of specific things. Like if the joke always comes about belittling your emotions, belittling your goals, like your career goals, they call it stupid, like, oh, you could never do that. They basically make you lower your standards. They basically make you feel like you're not good enough, you're not enough to get to that point. Honey, get out. Tail sign of toxic people is narcissism. And I know like these days social media makes everybody think vain is such a good thing. Being vain is fine. Being in love with yourself, being vain is fine. Self-love is in right now, and I encourage everybody to love themselves. But narcissism is like a different disorder. So have you ever been in a situation where you're talking to somebody about something and they make it all about them 24/7? Then like you are having a conversation about them even though you brought up something that was disturbing you. Narcissism is a very, 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 very significant part of toxic and abusive relationships, so you might want to check that. Another thing is comparison. So your partner or your friends constantly compare you to their spouses, to their family members, to their whoever works under the sun, they want to compare you to. We all know like comparison is the thief of happiness. You don't need to be in a constant place where people are comparing you if they're not, and especially when they're not supporting or encouraging you. So if you find yourself constantly being compared to other people meanly or like unjustly, it's not worth it really. It's not worth being in that situation. So just extract yourself and leave. If you looked at all these signs, you should also, last but not the least, trust your gut. Because the thing is, if you think you're in a toxic relationship, you probably are in one. Trust your gut, because if you don't have an idea like you're in a toxic place, the thought will never come to you. Like if you're really happy, if you're having all the positivity coming your way, like there's no way that negativity will ever seep in. So if you think you're in a toxic or abusive relationship, you probably are. So trust your gut. Now you've looked at all these signs and you can ascertain that you're in a toxic relationship and you no longer want to have to deal with it. The first sign is usually to withdraw. So you just start withdrawing slowly, and withdrawing doesn't have to be drastic. I think abusive people are very easy to tick off, so you want to withdraw slowly and discreetly. The more discreet you are, the better your chances of actually withdrawing successfully before it progresses to physical abuse or even death, because we all know we've read stories and seen stories where people try to get out of abusive situations and get killed. So you want to try to withdraw slowly and discreetly as possible. The next tip will be to get back a positive support system. So you remember that your partner already isolated you, your friends already isolated you from other people. You want to create another support system that kind of accepts you, so that way you're not so isolated anymore. Because I find that there's power, there's strength in numbers. So withdraw, isolate, and if possible get out of that relationship, because there's nothing great about a relationship that breaks you. There's nothing great about a friendship that breaks you, a friendship that does not encourage or support your dreams, a friendship that tells you that you're not enough. Because I'm here to tell you today that you are enough. Everything that you are is okay. And if you're a toxic person, I'm just here to tell you that you need to change your ways, fam, because God is on the throne and He's looking at you and He's going to be judging you. And last but not the least, obviously, get out. Get out of that relationship. Get out of that. So if you liked and enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It really helps my videos. Like, subscribe, share, rate, and subscribe right here, I think. And I'll see you guys in my next one.